This is part 2 of the 2 rare games that involve cats. If you haven't seen part 1, go check it out here. I'll give you some time to click the thing or whatever and go to it. I don't even know how this stuff works anymore. I don't even think you can put a link here. Yeah, it should be good enough time. All right, let's move on. You were warned. Let's go. Well, after dealing with Reina, it's time to move on to the second unknown white cat to Americans at least, as we will be clawing into a PS1 game that was only sold in a specific place in Japan. Meaning to own a copy, you would have to be in Japan while at the place during the same time period the PS1 was out and bought a copy from here. But thanks to the internet, I actually own a physical copy of this and was able to secure it for $40 with shipping. This is what I meant when I said rare, but not overpriced rare. But maybe when you actually learn how bare bones this is, it will be overpriced. So what is this place in question I'm referring to that you would have to have been at to even get the chance to buy this hidden gem? Well, the place in question is an amusement park inside of a mall in Tokyo, known as Sunshine City, the biggest mall in Ikebukuro, featuring a large Pokemon Center shop inside with the largest Pokestop to ever exist. A full-on aquarium that has a transparent tank that's in the shape of a donut, as its theme is an oasis in the sky. Screw it, I'm about to review the damn aquarium at this rate. 2 other unique shops a nerd like me would enjoy. However, our video isn't really about these places, but there is a specific one we will be talking about today. You see, inside the mall is where the amusement park exists and is owned by none other than Namco, the guys who decided to make Tazio Hori from Dig Dug have a divorce be a canon event for him. I'm not joking, go check out Mr. Driller for the DS. Also the company who released the same anime fighting games weekly. Namja Town was opened in 1996 inside of the mall. This, however, wasn't their first park they've ever had, as the Wonder Eggs was the first time a game company ever owned an amusement park. While this place has since closed, Namja Town is still going strong to this day, with multiple collabs and events held there from Spy X Family, Persona series, and even Siren, the PS2 horror game. They got themed food based on the franchise, and so many, and I mean so many merchandise of Siren 2 stuff was being sold there. You had people even cosplaying as characters from Siren, acting as the townspeople would. It's pretty accurate and a little spooky seeing them stumble around. Siren even got its own attraction that was a haunted house you explored, with it being themed around the world of Siren. They even made all the characters into anime chibis with cat ears, so you already know, we're eating good tonight, baby. There was also a Danganronpa event with a bunch of merch, including these keychains of the characters' underwear, which probably makes a lot more sense to those who played the game. And why they picked these, I don't know. I just find it kind of weird. It's a children's amusement park and they have keychains of underwear. But what do I know? I've never played Danganronpa, Papa Pee Pee Poop. Who was this shit targeted to again? So why did Namja Town become a thing? Well, Namco decided it wanted to mix the arcade culture with food theme attractions. The most popular food sold here is the gyoza, with multiple shops widely known in Japan calling this place their home. The other big food that was here was ice cream, with the Ice Cream Paradise shop. The shop had over 50 types of ice cream you could try, from crab, beef tongue, and even Indian curry. You can even get ice cream that has noodles in it or fried chicken. But obviously, I'm sure the actual profit from all these ingredients in ice cream was minuscule, as the shop did close back in 2017, but it's still super unique to see what they did offer at one point. They now will do special food themes after whatever event they're hosting, with different types throughout the year. From what it seems like, it's usually anime or some games here and there, but still very fun. With that being said, Namja Town isn't just all food, as there's quite a lot of unique attractions and games to try out. As of recent times, they added the arcade fishing game I covered before on my 2-hour fishing video. Having this giant screen with more than 6 people able to play it at once, having you reel in the fishes and trying to catch more than your opponent. I would love it if we had this here, as most places that usually have Ace Angler go for an arcade cabinet with the screen on top, having the player look down at it. They even added a new area called Ninja Town that allows you to explore a place that looks like Japan in the 1800s. But if it was hit by a mystical fantasy wave, having areas filled with statues that move, neon lights lining the rooftops and walls, the traditional and the fantasy mix to create an otherworldly view to take in no matter where you look. My favorite thing is the use of projectors having faces or lights animate around objects, giving the feeling that everything around you is alive, and you're now not on the same Earth you've called home, as if you transported to a new world that isn't Earth anymore. If you explore long enough, you will even find a jump scare in the bathroom. There's also some games and attractions here that you can try out. One where you practice your ninja star skills by throwing them at targets. This one is called E-Ninja. You're tasked with throwing laser shurikens at your opponent, trying to hit the metal plate on their head to win. Then there's the quiz attraction. You're trying to infiltrate a Karakuri mansion and be able to attempt at becoming a Ninto Shinobi. This attraction is played by taking a scroll around to various places in the area and having you place it down to start the quiz game. Your goal is to get the answers right to free the souls of 7 ninjas who have been possessed by evil spirits. There's even a shinobi show, but I couldn't find any footage of this to really talk about it. I'm sure it's just actors acting out a story with swordplay, but that's all I can find. You even have the stamp hunt with over 43 cat paw stamps hidden around Namja town. These are found mostly just for bragging rights. Finally is the horror attraction, where you're tasked with solving mysteries while trying to escape a room before a group of evil ninjas show up and take you out. These seem to change, however, as time goes on, so not sure how long the ninja area will stay, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself covering one of the attractions when we haven't even met the main characters for the park. You probably will notice right out the bat the amount of cat theme items and statues everywhere. Even the cat stamps that we mentioned earlier are all over the park. Even secret cat prints all over the floor, discreetly hidden from people's eyes. That's because the main mascot of this place is the cat named Najav, who is a male calico cat. If you know anything about calico cats, they are usually born as females. It says here though, apparently only 1 out of 10,000 calico cats will be born a male. But in reality, it means that Najav here has a genetic abnormality known as the Klinefelter syndrome, meaning Najav has XXY sex chromosomes. You learn something new every day. Najav's favorite color as well is yellow, and he loves getting praised as it makes his body tickle, so the man has a praise kink. Jesus Christ. Now the next character is named Najami. Apparently she even throws her own idol concerts. Then we have Nanchichi, who is a baby cat that was abandoned. He was found in an orange box and gets kidnapped a lot by the Kappa King. Next is Mononoke Tama. This is a cat ghost who helps people whenever they're in trouble. You can actually see statues of this cat around the park. This is Hapiru, who can be seen in one of the attractions they have that we will cover later on involving a magical bird egg. Mojave is the more anti-hero of Namja Town. He used to be anti-fun and tried to stop anyone from having fun at all costs, but now seems to be more about being mischievous. Apparently, he even feels jealous of Najab. He also owns a cat named Otama, and I don't know how this works in the world with a cat owning a cat, but I don't want to think too hard about it. You can also join his group if you want, and it features a guy in a costume of him posing, and this goes hard for no reason. Now this is Otama the cat, who's owned by Mojavu. Apparently she used to be a small cat till she was caught in a space-time distortion and grew to a gigantic size. The scarf she wears that makes her stand out was given to her by Mojavu. Otama's special trait is she's very agile even with her size being as big as she is. Now we're still not done, as there's lore about how Namja Town came to be in their universe. Najab decided to build it using said memories and dreams and made a town that looks like it's from the 1950s. As things continued to grow here, people started to come all over the world and settled here, making each block grow. But without Najab's knowledge, his grandfather, an archaeologist, learned that people would soon be in danger and lose any ability of playfulness. He wanted to do whatever he could to avert the crisis. He found this from the ancient civilization known as the Nyaya. It's said on the month of Matatavi, January 2013 in our world, a natural disaster would occur, causing the world to lose any ability to experience playfulness. With the only way to avoid this natural disaster is to unlock the ability to play using a key made by the ancient Nyaya tribe. Najab's grandfather did find the key but never was able to get the power inside to work with him. He ended up giving the key to his family and went on an adventure and never returned. Time moves forward as days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months till it was time to pass the key down to a special cat. That cat being Najab. While this was all going down, there was another cat that had mysterious powers that matched Najab. This was a cat we learned about named Mojavu, who also formed a town as well, but the people there became too harsh with their playing and soon became tyrants, which made all the vitality for everyone vanish. But fast forward to the year 2222, or January 2013 in our years, it was time for Najab to use the key to unlock the power inside. He raised the key and shouted, "Najar!" The old ruins of Nyaya appeared as a keyhole was dead center of everything. When Najab entered the key inside, it created a huge cyclone as it was the power of play being released again onto the world. As the cyclone died down, what remained was a city. The place was now open to everyone as Namja and Mojavu's town fused together. With what can be seen as an evolution from his previous state, new ways of fun and play have opened up to everyone, allowing the bonds to deepen past what was thought possible. Najab asked Mojavu to join him in making this town fun again, but Mojavu, being the way he is, told him that he's better than him and he can't approve of a city like this. This is when Mojavu made a vow to embarrass and ruin Namja as much as he can. This is when the Moja gang was formed to go against Namja in his new town. I swear to God, if I have to keep saying the word Jav at every end of the name, I'm gonna be so pissed. And all they know now is at some point they plan to act out something so great it could ruin the town forever. That being said, I think it's time to talk about how Namja Town is set up, as it's more than just a ninja town with multiple areas all being distinct from each other. The main area being the Lucky Bag 7, which is themed around 1950s Japan. This is used as the hub area to walk around and visit the attractions or go to the food places. I also want to add how most of the footage I can find for these places come from videos that are either kinda recent or from 3 to 6 years ago. So things may not exactly look the same, but when you don't have many options for footage, you take what you can get. This area is where all the food courts are lined up, as everything gives a comfy vibe. All the lanterns that fill the area is a nice touch, while it feels like it's under a subway line, with the roof structures giving it a feeling of being tucked away from the crowded world around it. It really feels like you walked into another dimension, honestly. This is definitely the place where you'll grab a bite and play the attractions like Ace Angler, a quiz game where you ride frogs and octopuses while they light up and move. You also have a ride called Explosion Mosquito Controlled Operation, where you go along a track taking out Amazon mosquitoes as you're helping Explosive Joe take them out since they become more ferocious than ever. Explosive Joe looks like what everyone thinks Texans look like, while somehow still not even being as stereotypical as some Texas people actually dress. You get presented with this Japanese man as 3D models of mosquitoes appear on screen. I'm really adoring a lot of these old looking 3D models they use for some of the attractions, as it feels right at home with a PS1 FMV game. Just looking at this one here is quite impressive, and I love it for the effort they put into these attractions, as someone had to model and animate all of this for a ride inside of a mall. Finally, we have the last attraction here that uses a gun and you shoot balls at squares or monsters on the screen while going through levels till you win. There's a story here with this anime girl and a weird TV rabbit thing, but overall finding anything on this specifically was tough as hell. We got the next area coming at us, and it's called the Dockingham Plaza. It's themed around a storybook world, giving the feeling you walked into any childhood fantasy book you owned. This is probably one of the more open areas of the park, as it feels quite spacious compared to the last area. Some cool lore: this was originally the town Mojave made before they combined together. A lot of the designs here will be book themed, you know, with lots of books scattered and paper stylistic designs for stuff. They even have a giant cat paw print here for pictures. There seems to be a small arcade here as well, but only 2 attractions are listed on the site. The first one goes back to our blue bird friend we mentioned before. This has you getting a happiness bird egg and trying to raise him to match you and your personality. You find spots to put him in, and then these scenes of a 3D bird will play. I'm guessing the stats at the top show what your bird is better or worse in. I'm also assuming there's ways to train him up from what I can tell. You're also able to touch eggs with other people and have them see if your and their bird are compatible. Your goal is to raise it to be the best it can be and have it reincarnate for someone else to take care of it. The other attractions here have you joining the Namja Detective Corporation to take on some cases and try to solve them. You are given a cat statue of Najav, and he will also meow over and over from all the recordings I could find. He never stops. He will be used to interact with the world to learn about what is going on so you can solve the case. So footage for this is extremely hard to find, and even what I could discover, I couldn't tell you which case it correlates to, but I'll go over them real quick here. You're tasked with finding a girl who vanished out of nowhere, and there's 3 chapters to this case you have to work through and solve. Case 2, you get a request to find a ring that has since been lost, but while trying to uncover where it could be, children with strange abilities will try to stop your progress and make the case impossible to solve. You're hoping to learn where the ring went and what purpose of the children being here are. Case number 3, all the adults go missing and you investigate to figure out where they have vanished off to. Case number 4 has you finding another missing girl who may or may not be the lady who requested her granddaughter. That's all the info I could find. Overall, not a bad area, but you would really need to know Japanese here to make any use of this one. While doing research on the video, there used to be a haunted area that I saw footage for a few times while jump scares and vengeful spirits littered the place. I believe this was turned into Ninja Town, so I had to use the Wayback Machine to find any info on this place, but keep in mind it doesn't seem to be there, at least for now at this point. But yeah, going back to explaining this area, it's themed around spirits who are evil and couldn't pass on and want to possess and hurt people. Weird choice for a kid attraction, but hey, we can see our ghost cat friend around the area, so that's cool. The colors go for a more gray tone with red glows coming from everything, like the lights or the ghost cats that hide above. They even have a jump scare machine where if you push the button, a demon jumps out at you. I will say this gives off a fun, spooky vibe that I adore a lot. As for the attractions, they had a zombie game where you were trying to take out the zombies while avoiding being turned into one. Then we have the attraction Hell Toilet, where you wear these headphones and learn about a tale on this haunted toilet, and it's also interactive. This one is Mononoke Expedition, where you take the cat statue of him around the park and use it to solve quiz questions and take on monsters and ghosts. Finally, we have the last attraction about a blind princess. It was supposed to be a haunted house, but apparently got changed for being too scary from what I could find, but that's about it for the ghost attraction. So with all that out of the way, we covered the whole park and the attractions and lore. So one of two things is going through your head right now if you made it this far. Either, wow, this is really cool, I'm glad I learned about this park, or where is the game review? So I think it's finally time to review it, but you will understand why I cover the park first once we get into the actual game. Well, here it is, my favorite Namja town for the PS1. Like in the last episode, this one is a minigame collection. While Reina had a funny and unique story as we follow the intern getting hired and accepted by his peers, Namja town doesn't have any of that. In fact, all we get is this opening and then the option to select 3 minigames. Yes, 3. I'm not too surprised, as again, this was supposed to be bought only in this specific place, but come on, 3? Well, what are these 3 minigames, as they must be great since they went quality over quantity. The first one we have is Namja launching himself off a cliff using a paper airplane so he can fly through the ring of the canyon. Occasionally, the wind will be strong and need to be accommodated for. That's it. The second minigame has you hopping from pillar to pillar trying to survive the time limit while grabbing dragon eggs. But be careful not to step on the same one too much, as eventually they will break. The third one has you copying this guy's moves. The name of this one is called Drunken Fist Training, and apparently this guy is named like Sake or something like that. It really sucks what's offered here is so boring though. This is when I noticed there were some options I couldn't seem to access. I tried beating all the minigames with the highest score I could and nothing. I looked on the back of the box and I could see screenshots of what looked to be different modes. That's when something at the bottom clicked. Pocket Station. You see, back in the day, PlayStation decided to release its own version of the VMU called the Pocket Station. I wouldn't blame you for being a kid in Japan who saw these commercials for its launch and just had no idea what was even being advertised. Most people I've talked with seem to believe it's nothing more than a memory card, mostly because here in the West, not a lot of games took advantage of the Pocket Station. Most notable ones being Ridge Racer Type 4 allowing you to trade cars using it, Final Fantasy VIII having a minigame exclusive to the Pocket Station, while in Japan, Street Fighter 3 Alpha could be used to level up characters and import them into the game to have them be stronger versions. And then a whole bunch of pet raising simulators, like a whole lot, even Digimon was part of it, Jesus Christ. There was even this one where you could buy a bunch of accessories for your Pocket Station and dress it up like if it was a person. It's kinda cute. When I think of the Pocket Station, the most notable one for me, funny enough, is another cat game, but Doko Demo Isho comes to mind, and it's actually where the PlayStation cat most people either know from these games or from PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale made his debut from. Funny enough, he was on the box, but this allowed you to pick other characters so you weren't just limited to him. He just ended up being the more popular one of the bunch and went on to have many sequels and even a full remake of this one for the PSP. But back on track, turns out these minigames are locked behind owning one of these. I don't own a Pocket Station, nor do I own a Japanese PS1. But as if Reina herself wanted me to continue the video, I was able to find a Pocket Station and a PS1 for $20, plus $20 shipping, but I may have also shipped a bunch of other games with it to make it cheaper, but I can now say I'm the proud owner of Densha de Go on PS1. Choo choo. So after doing all that and importing a whole system into the States, I learned this was entirely useless. So technically, there is a minigame I can access. It's this screen where it shows me a boat. On the Pocket Station, it basically becomes a calendar and a clock while showing Namja's face. So turns out basically everything on this disc that isn't accessible from the menu is technically lost media. The only way to play the other stuff that is locked is by being in the Namja amusement park during the time the PlayStation was being used there. You then needed to play the Namja Great Adventure attraction and record your winnings with the Pocket Station by plugging it into the machine after the attraction was over. You then could encounter other people with a Pocket Station and earn courage orbs by echoing with someone who has the special pocket. More than likely, if you met someone who had Najab inside their Pocket Station, you could place them together and get rewards. Doing all this meant you could bring it back home and play the other attractions inside the game, continuing the fun. These other sections allowed Namja to have his own house and talk to other residents, even trade crystals for furniture or new people to be a part of the house. You could even talk with them, I guess. That's all this mode seems to be, was building a house to talk to NPCs, but it really sucks there's no way I can see to access this, unless you get lucky and find a Pocket Station that holds Namja amusement park data in it, but very doubtful this will happen. I'm hoping bringing light to this could make people interested to crack this game open and access these lost features, but till then, this is all we have. Sorry this took a bit to release part 2, but here we are. It's finally out and I'm glad to see the love the first one got. Well, maybe I'll talk more about cat games in the future, but for now, I'm not kidding, but I have to go. It's time for the Patreon readings as usual. First up, we have Annie, Tofar Love Again, Emiko the Kid, Quality CQ, and Burger Diver Banando. I just want to say again, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry this took so long. I ended up having a full-on hard drive failure and kind of lost a lot of shit, so I'm trying to rebuild it back. But luckily for this one wasn't too hard to, remake, because a lot of the footage isn't even from me. It's a lot of just stuff that people have filmed for the amusement park. So thank you again for all those people that had footage and stuff up. And thank you also as well for anyone who watched this. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys have a great night. See ya.